Ah, well, they finally reached the point where they couldn't keep pretending. They finally hit that moment where it slipped out. Whether they meant to or not, they confessed it, not verbally, not directly, not in a planned way, but through their reactions, through their hesitation, through the way their eyes shifted when you spoke. They revealed what they've been noticing, what they've been avoiding, what they've been trying to downplay for so long. That your intelligence outranks everyone around you. That you're operating on a level most people can't detect until they're already behind you. That you're thinking faster, processing deeper, and understanding things that take others days or even years to figure out. It's becoming too obvious for them to hide now, too clear, too consistent, too undeniable. People can't mask what their instincts already know. But you're too smart for the environments you were placed in, too perceptive for the roles you were assigned, too aware for the expectations they projected onto you. The truth is surfacing in ways they didn't intend. The truth is coming out in how they treat you, how they respond to you, how they speak to you, how they change their tone when you begin explaining something. They know you're not on the level they assumed. They know you're not someone they can categorize quickly. They know you're not functioning on the same frequency they're used to. And the reason they're reacting this way is simple. They misjudged you. They tried comparing you to the versions of people they've known before. They tried measuring you with the same shallow scale they use on everyone else. They assumed you were average. They assumed you were predictable. They assumed you were someone they could estimate with quick glances and surface judgments. But you proved them wrong, and not by trying to prove anything. You proved them wrong simply by being you, simply by thinking the way you think, simply by speaking with the clarity you speak with, simply by choosing differently, observing differently, understanding differently. And now that the truth is out, now that it's visible, now that it's too big for them to cover with their assumptions, they're reacting in all kinds of ways. Some are impressed, some are intimidated, some are confused, some are embarrassed that they ever underestimated you, and some are bothered because they wanted to believe they had the intellectual upper hand. They wanted to believe they understood more than you. They wanted to believe they were sharper, quicker, wiser. But the reality is proving them wrong again and again. You think deeply, you think broadly, you think ahead. And people can feel the difference. They can sense that you don't just respond. You process. You don't just observe. You analyze. You don't just follow conversations. You decode them. And that level of awareness makes people reveal themselves without realizing it. They start confessing what they see in you. They start showing their respect through their caution. They start revealing their admiration through their questions. They start displaying their insecurity through their challenges. Because a mind like yours stands out. A mind like yours is noticeable. A mind like yours can't be hidden. You have this way of understanding life from angles most people never consider. You have this way of seeing patterns that others need diagrams to grasp. You have this way of connecting thoughts that seem unrelated to everyone else. And when people witness that repeatedly, they start coming to an internal conclusion that they can't deny any longer. That you're too smart, that your intelligence isn't regular, that your mind isn't functioning on a basic setting. They talk about it behind closed doors. They whisper about it quietly. They reference it around others. Someone somewhere has already said, "I don't know how they know that," or "I didn't expect them to understand that," or "they're sharp," or "they catch on fast," or they're too quick with it. These small comments are confessions. These shifts in behavior are confessions. These moments where they hesitate before questioning you are confessions. These times where they try to test you and end up confusing themselves are confessions. And the truth is, you don't even try to outshine people. You don't try to belittle anyone. You don't try to dominate conversations. You don't try to appear superior. You simply operate at your natural pace, and that pace exposes the difference. That pace reveals your edge. That pace highlights the way your mind picks up information like it's second nature, and it shocks people because you don't fit the profile they expected. Maybe it's your age, maybe it's your background, maybe it's your personality, maybe it's your quiet nature, maybe it's your calm presence, maybe it's the way you don't brag or announce what you know. People think intelligence always comes with arrogance, but yours comes with precision. Yours comes with depth. Yours comes with awareness. And that combination throws people off because they don't see many people who are both humble and mentally advanced at the same time. You probably learned a lot from experience, from challenges, from observation, from being around people who taught you what to avoid, from studying human behavior on your own, from noticing the small things others overlook. Your wisdom didn't come from just books or school alone. It came from life. It came from mistakes. It came from reflection. It came from choosing to understand instead of just exist. And all of that layered intelligence shows in how you speak, how you move, how you respond, how you navigate your situations. People underestimate that type of intelligence because they can't measure it with standard tools. They can't grade it. They can't box it. They can't label it with a simple term. So at first, they tell themselves you're nothing special. They tell themselves you're average. They tell themselves you're easy to figure out. But all it takes is a single conversation or a single situation for them to realize they misread you completely. And once they realize it, they can't unsee it. Once they experience it, they can't forget it. Once they confront it, they can't pretend it isn't there. Because your intelligence keeps manifesting in different areas of your life. You solve problems quickly. You process emotions with maturity. You make decisions with clarity. You move with strategy. You notice when something is off. You recognize patterns immediately. You sense motives before they're spoken. And all of that together forms a type of mental strength that outranks the average person by miles. This is why people sometimes freeze when you speak. This is why they pause before responding. This is why they rethink their words around you. This is why they watch you more closely. You make them aware of their own gaps, not by trying to, but simply by being who you are. Your presence acts like a mirror. It reflects the difference. And most people are not used to being around someone who can read between the lines so effortlessly. Even at workplaces, this becomes obvious. You catch on to tasks faster. You analyze instructions deeper. You find smarter ways of doing things. You improve processes naturally. And people who have been in the same position for years start noticing that you pick up in weeks what took them months. That you understand, in one explanation, what others need, repeated multiple times. And because of that, they start testing you. They start giving you complicated tasks. They start observing how you handle pressure. They start monitoring how you learn. And every time, you confirm their suspicions. You learn fast. You adjust quickly. You understand more than you speak. And that makes some people uncomfortable because they didn't expect you to be operating like that. They didn't expect you to have such a strong mind. They didn't expect you to outperform them mentally. And instead of admitting it openly, they reveal it through their behavior, through their tone, through their hesitation, through their sudden change in how they speak to you. Some will respect you deeply, some will admire you silently, some will follow your lead without even realizing it, and some will envy you because they can't understand how you think the way you do. But all of that is part of the confession. All of that is part of the unfolding truth. All of that is part of the shift happening around you. You think ahead, you question things, you analyze concepts, you don't accept information blindly, you don't follow trends without understanding them. You don't allow people to influence your decisions without your own evaluation. You use your mind as your primary tool. And that is rare. Many people avoid thinking deeply because it requires effort. But you do it naturally, and that natural ability is what makes people talk. It's what makes them observe. It's what makes them reconsider how they approach you. Because it's evident now. It's visible in your choices. It's visible in your progress. It's visible in how you carry yourself. They can't pretend anymore. They can't deny what's happening. They can't hide their recognition of your intelligence. You've reached the stage where their behavior is the confession. Their adjustments are the confession. Their reactions are the confession. And whether they admit it verbally or not, it's already known. You're operating on a higher mental frequency. You're processing life through a sharper lens. You're moving with a type of awareness most people never develop. And what happens next is the part people rarely talk about. The shift in how they engage with you once they realize they can't measure up. Because when people finally understand that you're thinking on another level, they begin to move differently around you, almost like they're trying to protect themselves from being exposed, even if you're not trying to expose anyone. The first thing you notice is how they modify their conversations in your presence. They become more cautious. They become more selective with their words. They try not to say things that sound uninformed or unprepared, because they've seen how quickly you pick up inconsistencies. They've seen how effortlessly you connect dots. They've seen how your mind breaks down information that would overwhelm most people. So even without saying it, they begin treating you like someone who requires more precision, more clarity, more respect in communication. And that alone tells you everything. People don't adjust like that unless they've already ranked your intelligence above theirs. Then there's the shift in how they handle disagreements with you. Notice how they don't challenge you as aggressively as they used to. Notice how they don't dismiss your thoughts as easily. Notice how they pause before arguing. That pause is important. That pause is revealing. That pause shows that they're not sure if they want to enter a mental exchange with someone who has proven time and time again that you think beyond the standard limits. They know a disagreement with you is not a casual back and forth. It's a confrontation with depth. And depth is something many people avoid because it forces them to confront their own lack of understanding. You're not overpowering anyone with ego. You're not forcing anyone into a corner. You're not trying to outsmart people on purpose. You're simply being yourself, which naturally exposes the difference, and that difference creates a quiet type of influence. The type that doesn't need to be announced. The type that doesn't need to be advertised. The type that builds itself through consistency. People sense that you understand things they don't. People sense that you observe more than you speak. People sense that you think in layers rather than lines. And once they sense that, they start behaving accordingly. Another thing that becomes apparent is how they begin seeking your input in subtle ways. They might not frame it as, "I need your guidance," or "What do you think is best?" Instead, they'll casually present their ideas in your direction just to see your reaction, or they'll ask your perspective indirectly by starting a conversation that leads to the topic they want clarity on. They might even repeat things they heard elsewhere to gauge your interpretation. These are all ways of quietly acknowledging your mental strength. People don't seek insight from just anyone. They seek it from people whose minds they trust more than their own. Then comes the pattern of people observing your choices. They watch what you choose, how you decide, how you move, how you approach new situations. They're not watching out of curiosity alone. They're watching because your choices have consistently proven to lead to favorable outcomes. You make decisions that make sense in the long run. You move strategically, even in small moments. You read situations accurately. You sense danger early. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You plan ahead without announcing plans. Your way of functioning becomes a blueprint for others, even if they never admit that you influence them. People start following your lead without acknowledging it. They start adopting your habits. They start copying your thought patterns. They start taking cues from your reactions. And they do this because they've realized your mind operates with a type of clarity they haven't found in many people. You have this ability to understand life in a way that simplifies things for those around you. Not because you reduce complexity, but because you're able to see the structure beneath it. And the moment people recognize this, they begin gravitating toward your guidance, even in silence. But with all of this admiration and adjustment comes another type of reaction, the reaction rooted in discomfort. Some people will become uneasy because they feel exposed. They used to base their confidence on the idea that they were the most knowledgeable in the room. They used to rely on the assumption that they were the quickest thinkers. They used to believe they had the strongest grasp on situations. But now, your presence challenges that image. Your presence creates contrast. Your presence reveals gaps. And instead of accepting that and growing from it, some people react with resistance. You may notice them speaking less confidently. You may notice them trying to make themselves appear more knowledgeable around you. You may notice them rushing to answer questions before you can. You may notice them inserting themselves into conversations they don't fully understand, just so they don't feel left behind. And all of that stems from the realization that you're mentally ahead in ways they were not prepared to confront. When people feel outranked intellectually, they either acknowledge it with grace or hide it with insecurity. And insecurity always reveals itself through unnecessary behavior. You'll also notice a specific type of person trying to challenge you more often, not because they truly want to debate you, but because they're trying to reassure themselves that they still have control. They might pick at your words. They might question your decisions more intensely than necessary. They might test your reactions to see how deeply you've thought something through. But in the end, these attempts fail because you're not shaken by their challenges. Your mind doesn't rush. Your thoughts don't stumble. Your clarity remains steady. You're someone who thinks before speaking, someone who processes before responding, someone who evaluates before committing. And people who run on impulse can't compete with a mind that functions on insight. Your intelligence is not loud, but it is consistent. And consistency has a way of making truth unavoidable. People can deny something once or twice, but they cannot deny it day after day, situation after situation, moment after moment. Eventually, they have to admit the reality to themselves. And the reality is that you're not thinking on a common level. You're not processing life the way everyone else does. You're not functioning at an ordinary mental speed. You're seeing details they miss. You're understanding motives they overlook. You're creating solutions they haven't even considered. And this is why they're reaching that point of confession. They might not say the words directly, but everything they do around you reflects the truth they carry inside. That you're too smart to be underestimated, too aware to be manipulated, too perceptive to be dismissed. You're operating on a frequency where comprehension comes naturally, where insight is your default, where clarity arrives faster for you than for others. But this shift in recognition doesn't just affect individuals. It affects groups. When you walk into a room, there's a change in the dynamic that people may not verbally express, but internally acknowledge. The way conversations shift when you contribute. The way discussions become more organized when you're present. The way ideas start connecting more smoothly when you speak. The way confusion dissolves when you provide direction. That is intellectual influence. An influence like that can't be faked. It can't be created artificially. It only emerges from someone who thinks with precision. People in groups often expose their real perception of you through how they defer to you. Pay attention to those moments when they pause, waiting for your input before deciding. Pay attention to how they clear space for your voice without being asked. Pay attention to how they summarize concepts differently when you're listening. These small shifts are the quiet acknowledgments that your mental ranking is higher. Not because you claimed it, but because you proved it through your consistency. There's also the pattern of people coming to you with questions outside your field or areas you never advertised expertise in. They do this because they trust your reasoning more than they trust the information they have access to. You've established yourself as someone who can take any topic, any challenge, any confusion, and break it down in a way that makes sense. You've become that person who people turn to when they want clarity, even in subjects that don't concern you directly. That's a sign of true respect for your intellect. People don't seek advice from someone unless they believe that person sees more than they do. Then there's the shift in how authority figures respond to you. Even they begin to show caution. Even they begin to watch their tone. Even they begin asking for your interpretation or your insights subtly. They may not say it out loud, but they know when someone is functioning on a different level. And you've reached that stage. The stage where people with more experience, more credentials, or more social position still adjust themselves around your presence because your mental sharpness changes the atmosphere. Some will find this inspiring. Some will feel threatened. Some will admire it quietly. Some will resent it silently. But none of them can deny it. Your intelligence outranks what they're used to dealing with. You don't fit into the categories they rely on. You don't move like someone who needs approval. You don't think like someone who requires validation. Your mind is self-guided, and that alone places you on a different level. Your ability to see through situations is what intensifies the confession. People realize that you understand things without needing excessive explanation. You pick up energy. You read intentions early. You analyze patterns quickly, and when someone is functioning at that level, others can't hide their reactions. They can't mask their thoughts as effectively. They can't pretend to be something they're not, because you can see through inconsistencies, and that ability forces people to approach you with either honesty or avoidance. Avoidance is its own confession. When people suddenly create distance, it's often because they feel exposed intellectually. They don't want to be around someone who can read deeper than they're comfortable revealing. They don't want to be near someone whose mind can interpret the truth behind their behavior. So they pull away to preserve their self-image. That distance is not rejection, it's protection for them, not for you. Honesty is another confession. People who feel safe with your intelligence will open up more, share more, ask more. They'll express appreciation for your clarity. They'll return to you repeatedly seeking insight. They'll call you dependable, reliable, grounded, and all of that stems from their recognition of your mental strength. Every reaction, whether positive or negative, leads back to the same conclusion. They finally see it. They finally understand what you've known internally for years. They finally recognize the level you're operating on. And even if they never speak the words out loud, their behavior carries the truth forward for them. And as this truth settles in their awareness, something deeper begins to unfold. Something that doesn't just change how they see you, but how they see themselves in relation to you. Because once people accept that your intelligence outranks their expectations, they begin reshaping their entire approach to you. This is where the internal restructuring begins. This is where they reconsider everything they projected onto you. This is where they confront their own assumptions. Because for a long time, people believed they could define you. They believed they could place you in categories that made sense to them. They believed they could anticipate your next move, limit your influence, or weigh your potential based on superficial observations. But now they know better. Now they understand your mind functions with a type of clarity that cannot be predicted by appearances alone. And this is the stage where admiration mixes with caution, not fear, caution. The type of caution people have when they encounter someone who sees beyond the exterior, someone who listens between the lines, someone who understands without being told. They start speaking differently around you, not because you're unapproachable, but because they know your mind catches every detail. You don't miss inconsistencies. You don't overlook contradictions. You don't ignore patterns. And that makes people become far more intentional in your presence. You'll notice this in the way they word their sentences. You'll notice it in the way they avoid saying things they haven't fully thought through. You'll notice it in how they avoid exaggerations because they know you'll catch the gaps instantly. You watch this transition happen naturally, the moment where people stop trying to impress you and instead try to avoid exposing their own misunderstandings. That shift is a silent confession. It's their way of acknowledging your intellect without needing to verbalize it. And then comes the part where people start bringing you information as if you're the one who can decode it. They'll come to you with confusion disguised as curiosity. They'll present their questions gently, hoping you can make sense of things they couldn't piece together themselves. And even though they might not say, "You're the smartest person here," their behavior says exactly that. When people trust your clarity more than their own judgment, they have already accepted the truth. You operate on a higher mental frequency. Your input becomes the reference point. Your interpretation becomes the anchor. Your reasoning becomes the direction others follow when situations are unclear. That's what happens when someone's intelligence rises above the collective level. It becomes the compass for everyone else. Not because you forced yourself into that role, but because your mind naturally assumes it by making sense of things faster, cleaner, deeper. And as this dynamic strengthens, you'll see another layer reveal itself, the layer of people protecting their ego around you. This shows up in subtle ways. They may act distant at times, not because they dislike you, but because they feel exposed around someone who understands so much with so little effort. They may choose not to share certain things with you, not because they don't trust you, but because they don't want to look unprepared or uninformed. They may even pretend to know something they don't, hoping you won't notice the cracks in their explanation. But you notice. You always notice because your intelligence isn't passive. It's active. It's aware. It's engaged with reality in real time. And when a mind operates like yours, it becomes impossible for others to maintain facades in your presence. You can sense confusion even when someone speaks confidently. You can sense hesitation even when someone acts certain. You can sense insecurity even when someone tries to stand firm. And that awareness alone puts you in a position where people feel the need to bring their best version of themselves when they interact with you. Not because you demand it, but because something about your presence requires authenticity. People don't want to seem foolish in front of someone whose thoughts carry weight. They don't want to appear unprepared in front of someone who processes information instantly. They don't want to display ignorance in front of someone whose understanding reaches beyond the surface. That's what operating on a God-tier frequency looks like, moving through the world with a mind so sharp that it unintentionally raises the standards of every environment you enter. And people feel that shift deeply. You can see it in their posture, you can hear it in their tone, you can sense it in their interactions. They don't speak to you the way they speak to everyone else. They don't handle you with the same casualness. They don't react to you with the same assumptions because they know now. They finally know. And once people know, once they accept it internally, their entire approach evolves. Some people become more respectful, more attentive, more sincere. They understand the value of being in the presence of someone who thinks beyond the limits of the average mind. They understand the advantage of being around someone who evaluates situations with depth and clarity. They understand that your intelligence is not something to compete with. It's something to learn from. Others, however, respond differently. Their pride becomes louder. Their insecurity becomes more visible. Their defensiveness becomes more reactive. Because some people would rather struggle with their own ego than acknowledge someone else's mental strength. They create distance, not because you did anything, but because your intelligence makes their excuses collapse. Because being around you exposes the shortcuts they take in thinking. Because your clarity makes their confusion undeniable. And even that reaction is its own confession. People only react defensively when they're confronted with a truth they don't want to accept. And the truth, in this case, is your intellectual dominance, the type that cannot be dimmed, diluted, or disguised. But the most interesting shift that happens at this stage is how people start holding themselves to a higher standard around you. Not because you asked them to, not because you corrected them, but because your presence alone inspires sharper thinking. You challenge people without directly challenging them. You elevate conversations without forcing them. You encourage depth simply by bringing your perspective into the room. And people respond to that. Whether they intend to or not, this is where the full realization settles. You're not just smart, you're too smart to blend in, too smart to be overlooked, too smart to be underestimated, too smart for people to treat you casually. You reached a mental level that makes people confront parts of themselves they ignored. And whether they express gratitude, discomfort, admiration, or distance, all of it is rooted in the same acknowledgement of your mental strength. You'll notice this in the way they stop giving you basic explanations. They no longer break things down into simple terms because they know you don't need it. They trust your comprehension. They trust your ability to understand without being guided. They trust that your insight is sharp enough to fill in the gaps faster than they can articulate them. When people stop over-explaining things to you, it's not rudeness, it's recognition. Recognition that you process quicker than they speak. Recognition that your mind connects ideas without assistance. Recognition that you see the bigger picture before they finish describing the smaller one. Another sign appears in how they start predicting your reactions differently. They no longer assume you'll react impulsively or emotionally. They know by now that you respond with reasoning, with clarity, with control. So they approach you with thought-out intentions. They approach you with more respect. They approach you with the understanding that your responses are calculated, not careless. This shows they've accepted your mental discipline, a discipline not many people possess at the level you do. And then there's the shift in how they talk about you when you're not present. The comments become more polished, more cautious, more admiring. Someone might say, they're sharp, or they think ahead, or you can't fool them, or they analyze things differently. Those aren't compliments, those are confirmations. These are the phrases people use when they've fully accepted that your intelligence has surpassed the boundaries they originally placed around you. Even people who once doubted you now adjust their tone when your name comes up. They soften their words. They choose more respectful phrasing. They avoid certain remarks. Because denying your intelligence became impossible. They saw the evidence. They witnessed the growth. They felt the difference. And at this point, continuing to deny what's obvious would only make them look foolish. This acceptance also shifts how people rely on you. They begin expecting you to understand things quickly. They begin expecting you to pick up on underlying meanings. They begin expecting you to foresee potential outcomes. And while these expectations might seem heavy to some, they're actually acknowledgments of your mental capability. People don't expect depth from someone who has none. They don't expect clarity from someone who's confused. They don't expect insight from someone whose mind is limited. They expect these things from you because you've proven consistently that your mind is built to handle complexity. And yet with all this recognition, one thing becomes very clear. You never needed anyone's approval to reach this level. You didn't become who you are because someone validated you. You didn't develop your intelligence to impress others. You didn't sharpen your mind for applause. Your growth happened because you were willing to think when others avoided thinking. Because you were willing to understand what others ignored. Because you were willing to learn from situations that broke other people. Your intelligence is the result of your curiosity, your resilience, your self-awareness, your experience, and your ability to reflect deeply. And this is what truly separates you. Not just intelligence, but the way you use it, the way you integrate it, the way you carry it without arrogance, without showmanship, without needing constant recognition. People admire that because it's rare. They don't see many gifted minds that don't boast about what they know. They don't see many insightful people who remain grounded. They don't see many mentally advanced individuals who maintain humility. That combination elevates you beyond normal rankings. That combination is what places you on that God-tier frequency, not dominance, but depth, not ego, but awareness. And as this understanding spreads, you'll notice something else. People stop trying to place you in the categories they used before. They stop trying to compare you to your peers. They stop trying to judge you based on age, status, background, environment, or social identity, because now they know those metrics don't apply to you. They've seen enough to understand that your intelligence can't be measured by traditional standards. Your mind doesn't operate within the same limits. You exceed the frameworks they use for most people. This leads to the next realization people carry, that being around you changes them. They start thinking more carefully. They start observing more. They start choosing their words more responsibly. They become more introspective. They start questioning their own assumptions. They begin recognizing areas where they overlooked details before. Your influence on their mental habits becomes clear, without you having to teach anything directly. Just your presence triggers higher awareness in others. That's the mark of someone whose intelligence truly outranks the crowd. They elevate others unintentionally. They raise the standard without forcing anyone. They shift environments simply by being part of them. And people feel this shift in real time. They know when they leave a conversation with you that they're walking away with a clearer mind. They know when they seek your perspective, they'll receive depth they weren't expecting. They know when they hear your interpretation, it will reshape their understanding. This is why people who once overlooked you now pay attention. This is why people who doubted you now listen closely. This is why people who didn't consider you a factor now study you. Because your intelligence changed the landscape. It changed how others perceive themselves. It changed how others interpret situations. It changed how others measure comprehension. And that shift didn't require noise or confrontation. It came through quiet consistency. And now, they can't hide it anymore. They can't pretend they don't see what's obvious. They can't downplay what's been proven. They can't dismiss the clarity you've shown over and over again. Their behavior has already exposed the truth. Your intelligence outranks everyone they tried comparing you to. You operate with a type of mental sharpness that stands on its own. You think with a type of depth that few people reach. You navigate with a type of awareness that sets you apart completely. You've reached a point where the respect isn't optional. It isn't based on popularity, appearance, or influence. It's based on capacity. It's based on recognition. It's based on what your mind has demonstrated. And now that the truth is out, they'll never see you the same way again. And that is exactly how it was meant to unfold. Quietly, naturally, undeniably. You didn't announce your intelligence. Life did. You didn't showcase your brilliance. Your choices did. You didn't force the confession. Their reactions did. And now the truth stands firm. You're too smart to be hidden, too aware to be underestimated, too elevated to be grouped with the average you're operating on. A frequency that only a rare few ever reach. A frequency they can feel. A frequency they respect. A frequency they can't deny, no matter how hard they try. And that is the final chapter of the confession they never wanted to make, but had no choice but to reveal. You know what's wild? You did everything they swore was impossible for somebody who wasn't born plugged in, and you did it without bending your integrity even once you moved up on your own terms, through your own grit, through your own vision, through your own damn backbone. And now the same people who acted blind to your potential can feel your energy before they even see your name pop up. They won't admit it out loud, but you can already tell you're making certain individuals uncomfortable without even speaking. That's the part that exposes them, not your mouth, your movement, not your pleas, your progress, not your weakness, your evolution. And that's exactly what they thought would never happen. The reason they study you in secret is simple. Your rise didn't come with announcements or theatrics. It came from consistency. It came from discipline. It came from late nights nobody saw and early mornings nobody respected. You didn't ask for a boost. You didn't wait for a favor. You didn't hold your hand out to people who only help when cameras are on. You went forward on your own and built step by step. And now the ones who told you to wait your turn are stuck watching you create turns they can't keep up with. They don't talk about that part in public. They whisper it in corners when your name stings their chest. What's killing them is that you didn't follow their script. You didn't shrink yourself to make insecure people feel taller. You didn't bow down to egos that expected you to kneel. You didn't run around trying to be accepted by individuals who only support when there's something in it for them. You moved with intention. You upgraded your mindset. You kept your distance from people who played both sides. And instead of staying stuck in the same cycles, you broke free and started carrying yourself with the type of certainty they pretend to have, but never mastered. And now, the real rage starts simmering for them. Because once your elevation became obvious, you didn't do a single damn thing to make them feel included. You didn't come crawling for approval. You didn't kiss nobody's ass for opportunities they gatekeep based on fake popularity. You didn't hop on nobody's dick for acceptance, attention, or access. You didn't beg for seats at tables run by cowards who think they control who wins. You stood on your own ground, and the whole foundation around you started shaking. That's exactly why they're up at 3 a.m. scrolling your page, watching your glow with jealousy burning holes through their chest. They watching every move you make, hitting your profile from burner accounts, trying to figure out how the hell you kept rising when the plan was to leave you stuck. They thought ignoring you would break you. They thought overlooking you would silence you. They thought excluding you would humble you. Instead, it made you dangerous. It made you focused. It made you realize that you don't need a damn soul to become everything you promised yourself you would be. You want to know the real reason they're sick? It's because they spent years trying to convince you that you needed them, that your success depended on their approval, that your growth depended on their circles, that your shine depended on their mentions. But look at you now, standing exactly where they said you couldn't reach, doing exactly what they said you weren't capable of, proving that every doubt thrown at you was just insecurity, disguised as advice. And now they gotta swallow the truth that you did all this without riding anyone's dick for clout. The game changed when you stopped giving access to people who never deserved it. You stopped letting leeches drink from your energy You stopped letting manipulators feed off your kindness. You stopped letting jealous folks sit at your table pretending they were clapping for you. You stopped entertaining conversations that drained your spirit. You stopped chasing validation from people who couldn't validate their own identity. And the moment you cut all that dead weight, your elevation turned into something they can't handle. They hate that you healed. They hate that you stopped doubting yourself. They hate that you started trusting your decisions. They hate that you took your power back. They hate that your glow isn't borrowed from somebody else's spotlight. They hate that your rise wasn't sponsored, handed down, or gifted. Everything they have came with conditions. Everything you have came from perseverance. And that's why your success triggers them on a level they can't even explain. Half of these people were comfortable when you were struggling. They preferred you in pain because it made them feel important. They liked you insecure because it made them feel needed. They liked you confused because it made them feel superior. They liked you doubting yourself because it allowed them to control the narrative. But now that you've stepped into who the hell you really are, now that you've outgrown their emotional leash, now that you're walking around with that unshakable energy, that confidence, that presence, that self-made glow you earned, yeah. Now they're furious. They spreading rumors. They sending side comments. They pretending they don't see you but watching everything you post. They acting unbothered but can't stop revisiting your page. They acting cool but crying in their group chats. They acting supportive but praying you fall off. They hate that you made it to a level they didn't expect you to reach without kissing up to anybody. You dismantled their whole worldview just by existing as yourself. You ever notice how the people who doubted you the hardest suddenly start acting distant when you win? That's because your success exposes the truth. They never wanted you to succeed more than them. They wanted you below them, behind them, dependent on them, grateful for crumbs they threw. They didn't want to see you thrive. They wanted to feel superior. Your glow ruined that illusion. Your independence ruined that fantasy. Your progress ruined their ego. Now they walk around avoiding eye contact, avoiding conversations, avoiding the reality that your name brings heat to any room you enter. They can't talk down on you anymore. They can't play you low anymore. They can't manipulate you anymore. And instead of working on their own life, they obsess over yours. It's easier for them to stalk your steps than fix their own insecurities. But here's the part that keeps them tossing in bed at night. You did not switch up. You leveled up. You didn't lose yourself. You found yourself. You didn't betray anybody. You protected your peace. And even though they tried to make you feel wrong for choosing yourself, you stood firm. You didn't fold. You didn't break. You kept rising past every attempt to distract, derail, or discourage you. They can't say the same. Understand something. They aren't mad at your glow. They're mad they no longer have influence over your shine. They're mad they no longer have access to your energy. They're mad they can't attach themselves to your journey anymore. They're mad they can't take credit for your progress. They're mad that you're winning without their handprints anywhere near your success. You're self-made in a world full of puppets, and that alone separates you. Your presence now carries weight. It carries history. It carries proof. When you step into a room, you're not just a person, you're a reminder of what resilience looks like, a reminder of what authenticity creates, a reminder of what happens when someone refuses to sell their pride for attention, You're walking evidence that you don't need to ride anybody's dick to rise. And when insecure people see that, it crushes them. Let's be honest, your glow-up isn't soft. It's loud as hell. Not because you brag, but because your existence hits different. People can feel your change before you open your mouth. They sense your focus. They sense your growth. They sense your elevation. They sense your boundaries. They sense your healed energy. And the ones who never thought you would reach this point are shaking, wondering how the hell you pulled it off without the shortcuts they worship. Because you didn't get here through gossip. You didn't get here through begging. You didn't get here through fake friendships. You didn't get here through brown nosing. You got here through discipline, pain, self-respect, and a level of courage they can't even imitate. And that is exactly why your name hits their nerves now. Watch how quiet they get when your blessings show up. Watch how the support slows down when you start winning. Watch how the congratulations sound forced when they realize you passed them up. Watch how they avoid your presence when they realize they can no longer treat you like an option. Because deep down, they know you're rising in a way they cannot duplicate. And the more you elevate, the more their masks fall. You are in a new era, and they feel it before you speak it. Your growth is confronting for people who haven't done their own. Your glow is painful for people who never healed. Your strength is offensive to people who built identities around weakness. Your confidence is threatening to people who rely on others to feel valuable. You stand as proof that independence is still powerful, and authenticity still wins, and that kills the illusions they hide behind. You didn't just move up, you leveled past their reach. And when somebody who wasn't supposed to win ends up standing on ground they never imagined you'd touch, the whole environment shifts. Suddenly the same doors that stayed shut for you start creaking open, not because they grew respect, but because your presence now forces acknowledgement. Suddenly the same people who ignored you are checking the temperature whenever your name comes up. Suddenly the ones who swore you'd never make it are adjusting their tone, because the version of you they thought they could predict doesn't exist anymore. You became unpredictable, unstoppable, unbothered, and uninterested in circles that once made you feel small. That's what eats them alive, the realization that you don't orbit their permission anymore. Because the truth is, your rise wasn't supposed to be this loud. It wasn't supposed to be this obvious. It wasn't supposed to be this undeniable. They thought you'd stay exactly where they left you, confused, insecure, waiting for someone to validate your potential, waiting for someone to choose you, waiting for someone to open a lane for you. But the moment you chose yourself, the moment you said, "Fuck it, I'll build my own lane," everything changed. That decision was the fork in the road. That moment was the shift that made them uncomfortable. Not because you succeeded, but because you succeeded without kissing anybody's ass for a shortcut. They didn't think you had the stamina. They didn't think you had the discipline. They didn't think you had the courage to separate from environments that drained you, conversations that dimmed you, relationships that caged you, and people who needed you to stay beneath them to feel tall. They never thought you'd have the confidence to say, "Nah, I'm good," and walk away from validation you used to crave. They don't lose sleep because you're winning. They lose sleep because you're winning without them. You proved they weren't necessary. You proved their approval wasn't required. You proved their opinions were noise, not instructions. And trust me, there's nothing that bruises a jealous heart more than realizing the person they underestimated became someone they can no longer reach, influence, or manipulate. That's why they're studying you. That's why they're lurking from fake pages. That's why they're replaying your moves in their mind, trying to decode your formula. They want to know how the hell you climbed that high without riding anyone's dick for access. They want to know how the hell you built that confidence without fake friends hyping you up. They want to know how the hell you kept going after every loss, betrayal, and setback that was supposed to break you. They want to know how the hell you became this version of yourself without their hands shaping it. It pisses them off because your glow isn't borrowed, it's built. Your elevation wasn't gifted, it was earned. Your progress wasn't accidental, it was intentional. And you didn't sell your integrity to get it. You didn't water yourself down to fit in spaces that weren't designed for you. You didn't beg anybody to see you. You didn't ride waves to stay relevant. You didn't depend on anyone's clout to get traction. Everything you've become is the result of your own grind, your own wounds, your own discipline, and your own inner work. That's why your glow hits different. It triggers them because it's real. People who cheat the process hate people who went through it. People who ride dick for relevance hate people who earned relevance through consistency. People who kiss ass for validation hate people who built self-worth without outside approval. People who depend on recognition to feel valuable hate. People who learned how to recognize their own strength. And that's exactly why they hate you. You remind them of everything they lacked the courage to be. You know why they can't stand your glow up. Because it exposes the truth about their path. They did all that fake shit for attention. They did all that extra shit to stay relevant. They did all that sneaky shit to be accepted. They followed trends because they couldn't lead themselves. They chased circles because they couldn't stand being alone. They lost themselves trying to impress people who don't even remember their name now. But you rose without those props. You rose without selling out. You rose without losing yourself. And that contrast is humiliating for them. Now every win you get hits them in the chest. Every accomplishment reminds them of where they could have been if they hadn't doubted you or themselves. Every move you make reminds them that authenticity still wins. Every new level you unlock reminds them that shortcuts are for cowards and self-discipline is for legends. So yeah, they're sick. Sick with envy, sick with regret, sick with the silence of watching you become someone they didn't prepare for. But here's the real punch. They can't admit it. They can't say, "Damn, I misjudged them." They can't say, "Damn, I should have supported them when I had the chance." They can't say, "Damn, I'm jealous because they're doing better than me." Instead, they pretend they don't see you rising. They pretend your growth means nothing. They pretend they're unbothered. They pretend they don't watch your page before they go to sleep. They pretend they don't refresh your profile to see what you posted. They pretend they don't talk about you in rooms that never mattered. But their behavior exposes them. Their obsession exposes them. Their tension exposes them. Every time your name comes up, they get quiet. Every time you walk into a room, their energy shifts. Every time someone praises you, they feel their stomach turn. Every time you succeed, they feel smaller. Not because you're competing with them, but because they're competing with you, even though you stopped playing that game a long time ago. You're in your own lane, on your own timing, building your own foundation, but they still trying to keep up with a pace that wasn't meant for them. And the craziest part, You didn't even want this reaction. You weren't trying to flex. You weren't trying to impress. You weren't trying to be better than anybody. You were just trying to be better than who you used to be. You were just trying to elevate your life. You were just trying to grow past your past. But when people are attached to the older version of you, your growth feels personal to them. They feel betrayed that you outgrew their expectations. They feel abandoned because they can no longer control you. They feel threatened because they can no longer predict you. You didn't betray them. You betrayed their low expectations. You didn't abandon them. You abandoned the version of yourself that accepted their bullshit. You didn't threaten them. You threatened the comfort they had in thinking you'd never rise. You didn't change for them. You changed for yourself. But that's something insecure people can't process. To them, your elevation looks dangerous. Your boundaries look disrespectful. Your confidence looks arrogant. Your healing looks fake. Your progress looks suspicious. Your independence looks rebellious. They can't understand how someone made of scars could become someone made of strength. But you know better. You carried every wound, every betrayal, every disappointment as fuel. You turned every "you'll never make it" into movement. You turned every "you need us" into separation. You turned every "that's not possible for you" into proof that it was. And now they're choking on the reality that you didn't just take off. You took off without their permission, without their guidance, without their validation, without their applause. You became self-sufficient in a world addicted to cosigns. You became resilient in a world addicted to shortcuts. You became authentic in a world addicted to pretending. And that shit is rare. That shit is powerful. That shit is threatening to people who built their entire identity around being needed. What really keeps them up at night is the fact that you're not done. The version of you they see right now, that's just the warm-up. That's just the opening credits. That's just the foundation. You're still climbing. You're still evolving. You're still unlocking levels. You haven't even announced yet. And they know it. They can feel it. You can always tell when someone feels the shift in your energy. They get nervous. They get quiet. They get distant. They start acting weird, passive-aggressive, or dismissive because your growth exposes their stagnation. You moved up without kissing nobody's ass, and that's why your name hits harder now. It's not the success. It's the integrity behind it. It's not the spotlight. It's the story behind it. It's not the glow. It's the grit behind it. It's the fact that you didn't ride dick for opportunities. You created your own. You didn't follow crowds. You followed purpose. You didn't seek acceptance. You sought alignment. And because of that, your elevation feels earned, not gifted. And here's what stings them the most. You didn't need to hurt anybody to rise. You didn't need to betray anybody to rise. You didn't need to manipulate anybody to rise. You didn't need to fake friendships or kiss up to influencers or join cliques. You didn't respect. You didn't need to play dirty. You didn't need to be messy. You didn't need to become someone you're not. You stayed solid. You stayed grounded. You stayed focused. And that, ironically, is the exact reason you pass them. People who cheat the process always crumble eventually. People who depend on others always fall apart when alone. People who fake their glow always flicker out. But you became unbreakable because you were forged in pressure, not popularity. And now that you're rising, you don't owe anybody explanations. You don't owe anybody access. You don't owe anybody forgiveness. You don't owe anybody discounts to your peace. You don't owe anybody a seat in chapters they didn't help build. Your story is moving forward, and you're done dragging dead weight to the next level. That's why the room feels different when you walk in. That's why your energy feels heavier now. That's why your presence makes people shift in their seats. You're no longer the version of yourself they were comfortable disrespecting. This is the era where your glow becomes undeniable. Your boundaries become permanent. Your confidence becomes natural, and your elevation becomes continuous. They feel it transitioning. They feel it rising. They feel it slipping out of their control. They feel it transitioning. They feel it rising. They feel it slipping out of their control. That slow panic creeping in is the proof that your elevation hit a level where nobody can pretend not to notice. The shift didn't ask for their approval. It simply arrived. Everything about you carries a different gravity now, an intensity that wasn't there before, a clarity that makes people hesitate before stepping into your space, a sense of direction that leaves no room for old patterns to drag you backward. This transformation isn't subtle, and nobody around you can hide from the impact eyes that once looked at you with condescension now carry hesitation. The individuals who dismissed your ambition can't maintain the same tone when your progress walks into the room ahead of you. Conversations pause whenever your name slips out unexpectedly. Even people who never interacted with you directly can sense the motion in your story. It's almost amusing how fast the atmosphere shifts when someone who wasn't supposed to rise becomes the one everyone ends up studying. You didn't ask for that attention. Results pulled it in without effort. That's the kind of presence that forms when someone refuses to shrink to make others comfortable. You made decisions that didn't require confirmation from crowds that operate off insecurity. Every turn in your journey sharpened your instincts. Each setback refined your discipline. The pressure you endured molded you into someone who doesn't fold. Individuals who relied on shortcuts can't decode that process because they never had the willingness to survive the long route. They chose convenience. You chose substance. Now those choices sit side by side, and the comparison embarrasses them. Your progression rearranged their perception. People who once believed you were predictable can't grasp the direction you've taken. The foundation that held you back no longer applies, and the version of yourself that tolerated disrespect doesn't exist anymore. You've stepped into a new level of self-respect that refuses to let anyone treat you as less than what you've earned. That change forces everyone around you to adjust, whether they want to or not. An interesting thing happens when someone rises without attachments. Those who relied on influence start losing their balance. Individuals who inflate their importance by offering favors don't know how to respond when the person they underestimated reaches the top alone. That independence challenges their sense of value. It dismantles an internal narrative they held for years, the one where you needed them to move forward. Your glow exposes that lie. It shows that the grind you committed to carried more weight than any handout. It reveals that the pressure you endured did more for your growth than any superficial opportunity they dangled in front of you. And the best part? You never begged for involvement. You never kissed ass to secure validation. You never rode dick for recognition. Every step you took was fueled by conviction, not desperation. That reality burns them in a way no arguments or confrontations ever could. Individuals who rely on manipulation collapse when they can't control the outcome. Your rise shattered that dependency. You proved that nobody held the keys to your future. You proved that influence doesn't determine destiny. You proved that clout means nothing when character carries more force. And because those truths stand in front of them without apology, they're forced to confront uncomfortable realities about their own decisions. There's something powerful about walking your path with no strings attached. The freedom in your movement irritates anyone who depended on your uncertainty. They can't predict your next move because you no longer operate from fear. There's no hunger for approval guiding your steps. There's no desperation leaking from your choices. Your direction comes from alignment, not anxiety. That clarity builds a presence that doesn't need to shout to dominate a room. People who used to overlook you feel a sting each time your name appears in conversations they aren't prepared for. They never anticipated sitting in the audience while you stand in the spotlight. The discomfort in their reactions stems from witnessing the collapse of their assumptions. They thought you didn't have the capability to rise this far without bending for acceptance. But you kept moving, even when nobody clapped. That consistency carried you farther than their connections ever could. Bitterness is unavoidable for those who misjudged you. Watching someone succeed without their involvement destroys the illusion of superiority they built around themselves. They used to believe they were above you. They used to believe they were necessary. They used to believe your potential depended on their attention. Then the story flipped. You started winning without help. The narrative shifted, and now they exist outside the trajectory of your growth. People convince themselves they're harmless until someone proves how heavy their absence truly isn't. That's exactly what you did. You showed that your elevation didn't require a single one of them. That truth alone rewired their attitude. Suddenly they act distant. Suddenly they avoid eye contact. Suddenly their confidence evaporates when you show up. It's not fear, it's embarrassment. They see the difference between your journey and theirs, and they don't have the courage to accept it. Your transformation highlights everything they avoided doing. The consistency they mocked turned into the advancement they envy. The self-discipline they dismissed evolved into the success they can't escape. The boundaries they questioned became the filter that protected your peace. Even your silence carries weight now because your actions speak louder than any explanation you could have offered. The disrespect you endured feels insignificant compared to the evolution it created. Every moment you stayed focused during chaos built a version of you that doesn't break easily. That strength isn't loud, but it's undeniable. The individuals who once believed you were fragile can't recognize the person you've become. Their perception is outdated. Their judgments are irrelevant. Their expectations hold no power. One thing about rising without assistance: it reveals the truth about everyone connected to you. People who applauded only when it benefited them have nothing to hold on to now. People who pretended to support you while hoping you'd fail don't know how to hide their disappointment. People who kept you around for convenience don't know how to approach you. Their behavior shifts because your growth empties the space where their ego once lived. They don't stay up at 3 a.m. watching you because they admire you. Jealousy keeps them awake. The glow-up wasn't supposed to be this bright, not in their eyes. They expected to shine first. They expected to stay ahead. They expected your progress to stall while theirs flourished. Now the roles reversed and they're left replaying their choices while you move forward with intention. They talk behind your back because speaking in front of you would reveal their insecurity. They study your progress because confronting their stagnation is too painful. They observe the way you carry yourself because their own identity feels empty. Every step you take reminds them of the work they avoided. Every milestone you reach forces them to acknowledge what they could have been. If they had conviction, they see the consequences of their laziness through your success. You didn't rise through luck. You rose through perseverance. You rose through discipline. You rose through grounding yourself in values that didn't bend under pressure. You rose through honoring your own voice. You rose through refusing to compromise your dignity for temporary acceptance. That kind of rise hits harder than anything gained through manipulation. Your name travels differently now. It carries a weight built on consistency, not gimmicks. It holds respect earned through honesty, not fake networking. It stands on strength developed during nights that nobody knew you were fighting through. People sense all of this without you speaking. Your energy carries a truth they can't deny. There's no need to revisit environments that once drained you. The path ahead is wider because you carved it with intention. The people who tried to make you feel small can't stand beside you at this level. They aren't equipped for the journey you're on. Their presence doesn't match your growth, and you aren't shrinking to make space for them again. Everything around you is evolving. Connections feel different. Opportunities appear naturally. Confidence flows without hesitation. Stability comes from the work you put in, not from the validation you used to chase. Life responds differently to those who stay true to themselves. You're living proof that authenticity clears obstacles that performance could never move. The reason your glow irritates them is simple. You didn't sacrifice your soul to reach this point. You didn't sell out. You didn't bend for fake friendships. You didn't attach yourself to people who didn't deserve access. You didn't chase clout. You didn't kiss ass. You didn't ride dick for position. You stayed grounded in your purpose, and everything around you adjusted to the frequency you built. That doesn't sit well with those who abandoned their integrity for quick advancement. They see the difference in the way you move, and it bothers them. You carry a calm that comes from trusting your direction. You move with intention instead of impulsive panic. You speak with clarity instead of insecurity. Those qualities form naturally when someone earns their rise instead of buying it with dignity. No matter how they spin the story, the truth remains. They're disturbed because they expected you to fail. They never imagined you'd outgrow their environment. They didn't think your potential extended beyond the limitations they placed on you. Your glow contradicts everything they claimed you couldn't be. That contradiction is the reason for their obsession. Your success challenges their worldview. Your progress disrupts their comfort. Your independence undermines their pride. Each step forward shakes something fragile inside them, and that fragility keeps them glued to your page late at night. But none of this requires revenge from you. The glow is enough. The progress is enough. The discipline is enough. The fact that you rose without anyone's permission is enough. Living truthfully is the most powerful response to the disrespect they gave you. Nothing stings a jealous heart more than realizing the person they doubted became untouchable. Your story is still unfolding. New chapters are building themselves with opportunities designed for someone who didn't take shortcuts. The next heights will be reached through the same authenticity that carried you here. That alone terrifies the ones who believed you peaked already. They see momentum where they prayed for stagnation. They see expansion where they wished for collapse. Nothing they do can stop this. Nothing they say can alter this. Nothing they plot can slow this. Your rise continues because it was never built on them. It was built on you.